She went hiking in an Arizona forest and vanished without a trace. For 3 years, search teams found nothing. No body, no clues, no answers. Then one day, deep in the woods, rangers found her alive. Skeletal, silent, barely breathing. What happened to her out there was far worse than getting lost. Before we begin today's story, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who enjoys deep, unsettling true crime cases. Stories like this one challenge everything we think we know about survival, isolation, and the limits of the human mind. In the summer of 2015, a young woman stepped into an Arizona forest for what was supposed to be a peaceful day hike. She was experienced, prepared, calm. She told someone where she was going and when she'd be back. She never returned. For 3 years, search teams combed the wilderness. Helicopters flew overhead. Dogs tracked scents that vanished without explanation. Authorities eventually concluded what they always do when there are no answers. She was gone. But in 2018, deep inside the same forest, park rangers discovered something that defied logic. A woman barely alive, skeletal, silent, sitting beneath a tree. She had survived for 3 years. And she hadn't been alone. What investigators uncovered afterward revealed one of the most disturbing wilderness cases in modern American true crime. A story of captivity, psychological collapse, and a predator who may still be out there. Rachel Winters was 26 years old when she disappeared. She lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, worked as a graphic designer, and had a reputation among friends for being independent and grounded. The outdoors had always been her refuge, a place where she felt calm and in control. On the morning of June 14, 2015, Rachel left her apartment just after 7:30 a.m. Security cameras showed her carrying a small day pack, wearing hiking boots, cargo pants, and a green cotton shirt. She told her roommate, Jennifer, that she planned to hike part of the High Line Trail in the Tonto National Forest and would be home by evening. She never came back. By 10 p.m., Jennifer's concern turned into fear. Calls went straight to voicemail. Text messages were unanswered. By midnight, Jennifer contacted Rachel's parents. Her father, Paul Winters, drove through the night. By sunrise, search and rescue teams were mobilized. Rachel had signed in at the trailhead that morning. A ranger remembered her asking about water sources. Weather conditions were perfect. No storms. No extreme heat. The forest should have given her back. Instead, it swallowed her. For 6 days, helicopters, dogs, volunteers, and trained search teams covered miles of rugged terrain. They checked ravines, creek beds, dense brush, and areas where hikers rarely went. Nothing. No footprints. No torn clothing. No signs of a fall or struggle. Rachel's scent vanished within the first mile. When the official search ended, Paul Winters refused to stop. He returned again and again, searching places that had already been cleared, putting up flyers, asking strangers if they had seen his daughter. Months passed. Then years. Rachel Winters became another cold case. On June 9, 2018, 2 park rangers were patrolling a remote section of the forest, an area with no marked trails and little foot traffic. At first, they thought they saw debris. Then they realized it was a person. A woman sat slumped against a ponderosa pine. Her clothes were shredded. Her body was impossibly thin. Her skin looked gray, stretched tightly over bone. She didn't respond when they spoke. She barely had a pulse. She was airlifted to a hospital in Phoenix in critical condition. Only after arrival did a nurse notice a scar that matched a missing person report. It was Rachel Winters. Doctors were stunned. Rachel showed signs of long-term starvation, dehydration, muscle atrophy, untreated fractures, and extreme vitamin deficiencies. Her feet were hardened like leather. Her hands bore scars consistent with digging and scraping. Her teeth were worn down, as if she'd chewed bark or roots. But physically, she wasn't the biggest mystery. Rachel did not speak. She stared through people. She didn't react to touch. Her mind had retreated somewhere unreachable. Doctors diagnosed a dissociative shutdown, a trauma response usually seen in prisoners of war or victims of prolonged captivity. Meanwhile, investigators returned to the spot where she'd been found. What they discovered would change everything. The area around the tree had been deliberately cleared. Nearby was a fire pit used repeatedly over years. Stones had been carried from far away. Animal bones were cracked for marrow. Rainwater had been collected intentionally. Rachel hadn't wandered there and waited to die. She had lived. And on the tree behind her, investigators found deep carvings, tally marks. Hundreds of them. At some point, the marks stopped, as if she'd given up counting time. A quarter-mile away, investigators found something worse. Another campsite, more permanent. There were tools, animal hides, a smokehouse, a hunting knife, rope, and buried beneath a stone, a notebook. The journal entries were chilling. She tried to leave again. I brought her back. Out there is chaos. Here is order. The cold makes her weak. I give her food. She cries. I don't understand why. The writer believed they were protecting her. Rachel hadn't been lost. She had been held. DNA from the campsite didn't match anyone. Witnesses recalled rumors of a hermit living deep in the forest for years, unseen, unreachable. Psychologists described the journal's author as a delusional caretaker, someone who believed captivity was kindness. The forest had become their world. Rachel had become their purpose. And now they were gone. Months into recovery, Rachel spoke her first word. Then another. Then fragments. Cold. Trees. Watching. Eventually, she remembered. She remembered being struck. Waking disoriented. Being unable to escape. She remembered someone appearing silently from the trees, never giving a name. She remembered trying to run, and being brought back. And finally, she admitted something haunting. At some point, she stopped wanting to leave. The forest became safer than hope. Trail cameras later captured a shadowy figure moving silently through the woods. Search teams found nothing. The journal's author has never been identified. Rachel continues healing, rebuilding a life she was never supposed to get back. And somewhere in millions of acres of wilderness, someone who believes captivity is protection may still be watching. Rachel Winters survived something most people cannot imagine. Not just starvation, not just isolation, but the slow destruction of identity, being reduced to an object in someone else's delusion. Her captor was never found, and that truth is unsettling, because it means this story doesn't truly end. If this case moved you, disturbed you, or made you question what survival really means, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. These stories deserve to be remembered, not just for what happened, but for the warning they carry. The wilderness is vast, and sometimes the most dangerous thing hiding inside it is another human being.